Hey tubes, Jonathan's wrong here. Truth on the budget. So I was just thinking about a couple things that I'm not sure if I've covered or not. Just general, basic, just immutable truths that have been scientifically proven, real science, that I just wanted to discuss real quick because gosh do I hate scientism. So anyway, real quick he says. So starting off, let's talk about space, how stupid space is. Now, not only is there no explanation for gravity and all that, how it works, you know, like the same force that holds down the ocean and supposedly holds the moon in place, that doesn't rotate, holds us down, yet we're able to jump and move and do anything. But anyway, space. So for anyone who doesn't know about, like, say something like a submarine, now when you're designing the hull for a submarine, it has to be able to withstand the pressure of basically, you know, all the ocean on top of it, trying to get inside of it. Because how when you take two different atmospheres, what they want to do, just like anything else, like heat, like when you're out in the wilds, you know, like you never want to sleep on the ground, because like if the ground's cold, the ground will make you cold. Like you're not going to make the ground warm because the ground's bigger than you are. So anyway, so with the submarine, the water is going to want to get in. So the amount of pressure it needs to withstand is, you know, thousands and thousands, just tons of psi. From the weight of the water of the ocean. Now, let's apply that to a spaceship. Now, you have space that is infinite nothingness. Okay? Now, you would have to build a ship able to withstand the pressure of infinite pull. And whenever you see these dumb things, they're like covered in friggin' foil. They're ridiculous. Like, especially when you have the things traveling like, you know, 2/3 of the speed of light and stuff. You know, if you hit anything, you'd be done. So anyway, let's just talk about the amount of pressure. So, like I said, you would have an infinite amount of pressure pulling on anything in space. So right off the bat, there's that. Now let's talk about travel. Other than that, you know, survival is basically impossible. Like any sort of electronics, how are you going to protect anything? Like, you would need shells upon shells upon, like, nothing would function. Anyway, so let's discuss movement. Now, basic law of physics is that if you want to move something, you need two things. You need, you know, something and something else. Basically, to go as basic terms as possible, you need something to push something or something to push off of something, yada yada yada. When you're in space, there's nothing to push off of. So if you wanted to change direction, if you wanted to move, if you wanted to do anything other than hurtle, you know, just go in like whatever, you know. And then the largest gravitational force would just pull you in anyway. If you passed any planet, you would just become a satellite, because you would have no way to control yourself whatsoever. Like whenever you see a space movie, you always see them using little thrusters and stuff. Like, you know, if they're on a space station, you know, you always see little stuff like, you know, they're like psh, 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 you know, psh, psh, doing little adjustments to like dock and stuff like that. You wouldn't be able to do that. That'd be impossible, because there'd be nothing to press off of, to whatever exhaust that they're using, other than the fact that as soon as they shot anything out, that would create a breach, and then, you know, the pull would just suck everything out. Like it would just suck the engine out and everything. Like, you know, other than the fact that for anything to combust, it requires oxygen. So nothing would burn in space. So not only is there nothing to push off of, but even if somehow, you know, yeah, you just it's impossible. Those two things are facts. You can't push off of nothing, and fire requires three things: heat, oxygen, and fuel. You need all three of those things, or else you don't get fire. So there you go. All right. So space is impossible. Let's talk about curvature and movement of the Earth. Now, what I like to do, and this is an easy test, if anyone is like, oh yeah, the Earth is round and is spinning ball and everything's spinning balls all over the place, spinning balls around spinning balls with spinning balls around spinning balls with spinning balls, infinite spinning balls, all over the place, space balls. I ask them to list any evidence of curvature or movement without mentioning a space agency. And right off the bat, they'll say, well, that's impossible. Well, exactly. Were these immutable facts, we would be able to measure it. You know, if Copernicus was like, yeah, you know, the Earth is round and we go around the sun, how did he decide that? If you need NASA to prove anything, how did they decide it, like, you know, 400 something years ago? No way. There's no evidence of curvature. Someone might say, well, you could watch a boat, you know, go over the horizon, and of course, I don't have a pair of binoculars on me at all times, but I do in my my bug out bag, because it's a useful thing to have. But yeah, if they have a camera, whatever, literally you can zoom in and you can find the ship again. And, you know, depending on the amount of atmospheric haze over the ocean, you could keep viewing the ship. There's no curvature anywhere. No matter how high you get, the horizon always comes to eye level. These are immutable facts. Were the Earth a ball, that wouldn't happen. At some point, you'd go high enough that you'd be looking down on it. That never happens. The horizon is always flat and always comes to eye level. And as far as movement goes, there's no evidence of that either. Have you ever seen a completely still pond? You know, are you going to tell me that gravity is just keeping that pond completely still? Yet at different spots in the Earth, like it's rotating at a different speeds, yet we don't feel any of it. It's thousands of miles per hour, yet someone can get car sick going like 20 miles an hour. So there's just no evidence of either of those things. Nowhere. And when you look into it and you start to measure things, heck, I was out with a friend the other day and we were up in the forts in Hull, and you know, there was a cloud, and you could clearly see the cloud obscuring the sun over in an area, like, you know, like over on an island, and it was casting a shadow onto the island. So it was obvious where the sun was. You know, it's like if the light source is here, and there's a cloud here, and there's a shadow here, you know, we're at 93 million miles away. You know, that there wouldn't be an angle to that shadow. It's just you could watch the sun when it's obscured by clouds and you see the rays come down at an angle. It's clearly not 93 million miles away. You can see the angles. You can see the angles of the light coming down. You can see it. With you could prove these things with your bare eyes. And if no one told you that you lived on a spinning ball, you wouldn't think that. All right. Gosh, I'm running out of time. I think I'm just gonna have to do this in 2 videos because I wanted to talk about evolution and dinosaurs, and that's probably gonna take longer than what I just did. So real quick, gosh, I mean, I don't even understand what more people need than that. Those are just immutable, already proven facts, things you can prove with your eyes, things that have already been proven with science. So yeah, I'm gonna upload this and then talk about how there's no evidence for evolution and dinosaurs are stupid. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day and God bless.